Jarek wiped the grease from his hands and leaned against the workbench, listening to the hum of the hovering repair drones around him. The spaceport city of Virelia was alive with noise, chatter, and the metallic sounds of ships landing and taking off. Aliens of every shape and size hurried through the docks, carrying cargo, tools, and crates that smelled faintly of strange chemicals. Humans were rare here, and Jarek, one of the few mechanics who had earned respect among the aliens, felt both proud and cautious as he worked. He had been repairing a hover truck for a massive, three-armed creature when a shadow fell over the workshop. Jarek looked up to see a small alien diplomat, his long, slender arms clutching a strange bundle. The creature in his arms looked barely alive. Its scales, usually bright and shimmering, were dull and cracked. Its wings were folded tightly against its body, trembling slightly. "Please." "Human," the diplomat said, his voice trembling in a mixture of fear and hope. "You are my last chance. Only you can help it." Jarek blinked. He had worked on damaged ships, broken engines, and even malfunctioning AI units. But never a living creature, especially not something like this. He stepped closer carefully. "What is it?" Jarek asked, trying to hide the nervousness in his voice. "It is a young dragon," the diplomat whispered. "It is dying. Others have tried. They have failed. Please, help it." Jarek studied the creature. Its eyes were half closed, its small chest barely moving. He had never seen anything like it up close, but he could feel its life struggling to stay. Something inside him shifted an instinct to help, to fix, to save. "All right," he said softly. "Set it down on my table." The diplomat hesitated, then carefully placed the young dragon on a padded workbench. The little creature gave a soft, pitiful sound. Jarek knelt beside it, examining its body. Its scales were warm, but dry. Its breathing was shallow. Its tail twitched weakly. Jarek didn't have formal medical training, but he was used to solving impossible problems. Machines, engines, ships. He had seen countless broken things brought back to life. Why not try the same with this dragon? He opened his toolbox, pulling out instruments and sensors. He carefully attached small monitoring devices to the dragon's limbs and neck, observing its vital signs. Its heart beat faintly, irregularly, but it beat. That was a start. He rummaged through the spare parts and vials of nutrient fluid he kept for experimental repairs. "This might sound crazy," he muttered to himself, "but you're going to need a mix of tech and care." Over the next hours, Jarek worked tirelessly. He cleaned the dragon's scales with a gentle solution, making sure not to harm the soft tissue underneath. He created a tiny life support system, using mechanical pumps to help circulate nutrients. He even fashioned a small oxygen regulator to make breathing easier. The diplomat watched silently, unsure if hope could survive. Other mechanics, even alien ones, had shrugged and said the creature was beyond saving. But Jarek refused to give up. He worked through the night, adjusting wires, sensors, and small implants, talking to the dragon in soft, calming tones. "You're going to be okay," he said. "I don't know how yet, but we'll find a way. You're stronger than you look." Hours passed. The dragon's breathing, once weak and uneven, began to stabilize. Its eyes flickered open, revealing a faint glow of intelligence. It stared at Jarek, not with fear, but with curiosity. For the first time, the diplomat allowed himself a small smile. You are remarkable," he said. "I did not think it would survive." Jarek shrugged. "I've fixed stranger things than this. Don't worry. We're just getting started." As the night deepened, the workshop felt quiet but alive. The young dragon, now slightly stronger, curled near a small heat lamp Jarek had rigged. It seemed to sense that Jarek was its protector. Every few minutes, it opened its eyes, looking at him with an almost human-like understanding. Jarek realized something extraordinary. This dragon might not just be alive, it might be intelligent. He watched as it reached a small claw toward a floating drone, attempting to interact with it. The creature's gestures were tentative, careful, yet precise. The diplomat, who had stayed silent for hours, spoke softly. It is learning from you. Perhaps humans, perhaps only humans, could understand it. Jarek felt a mixture of pride and concern. If the dragon could learn quickly, it could grow powerful. But it was also vulnerable, and the galaxy was full of those who would exploit a creature like this. He knew he needed to protect it, not just for its life, but for its future. By morning, the dragon was stronger. It could move its wings slightly and lift its head higher. Jarek had never seen anything like it before. Machines could be fixed with tools and parts, but living beings required patience, understanding, and a willingness to adapt. Humanity, he thought, had a way of improvising in ways no one expected. Suddenly, the dragon emitted a soft, musical sound. The notes were strange, almost like a language. Jarek tilted his head. Could it be trying to communicate? He watched as the creature moved its small claws in patterns, almost as if drawing in the air. The diplomat gasped. I have never seen it do this before. It may understand more than we thought. Jarek smiled. It's learning. And learning fast. That's all we can do. Help it grow. And see where it leads. Word of Jarek's success spread quickly across the spaceport. Other aliens came to see the dragon, whispering about the human who had saved the impossible. Some were skeptical, some curious, and some envious. But Jarek ignored them. He focused on the dragon, observing its growth, and learning how it interacted with the world. Over the next few weeks, the dragon gained strength. It could flap its tiny wings and lift its body off the ground for short distances. It learned to manipulate tools, nudging small items with surprising precision. Jarek realized that this dragon could interact with technology in ways no one had imagined. One day, while repairing a drone, the dragon reached out with its claw and touched the control panel. The drone responded instantly. As if guided by the creature's mind, Jarek stared in awe. Humans were capable of innovation, adaptation, and understanding in ways others could not. This bond between species, he realized, could change everything. The diplomat approached him cautiously. It seems, your people are not as weak as we thought. Perhaps, humans can be more than mere visitors to our world. Jarek shrugged, trying to hide his excitement. We survive. We adapt. That's what humans do. As the sun rose over the city, casting golden light across the spaceport, Jarek looked at the dragon. Its scales now glimmered faintly in the sunlight, its wings stretched wide, and its eyes sparkled with intelligence. This small, dying creature had been given life again not by magic, not by luck, but by human ingenuity, care, and determination. Jarek realized something profound. This dragon was more than a life to save. It was a symbol that humans, even alone in an alien world, could make a difference, could protect, could inspire. And as the young dragon looked at him, chirping softly and flapping its wings in a playful gesture, Jarek felt a sense of destiny. Whatever the galaxy held, humans and dragons together might be stronger than anyone had ever imagined. From that moment, he knew life would never be the same. The dragon's survival was only the beginning. The universe had just introduced a new player, a human who refused to give up, and a dragon who would grow beyond anyone's expectations. Together, they were about to change everything. And somewhere deep inside the dragon, a spark of understanding began to grow, a spark that, in time, would connect it to the galaxy in ways even Jarek could not yet imagine. The city of Virelia had never been quieter at night, but inside Jarek's workshop, a different kind of energy hummed. The young dragon, now stronger and more curious, stretched its wings and chirped softly. Its scales reflected the light from the floating lamps above, shimmering like liquid metal. Jarek was at his workbench, tinkering with a small repair drone. He glanced at the dragon. "Ready to try something new today?" he asked. The dragon tilted its head, blinking with intelligence. It seemed to understand him perfectly. For weeks, Jarek had been teaching the dragon small tasks. It could now lift tiny tools, press buttons, and even operate simple machines. But what fascinated him most was how the dragon interacted with technology. Whenever it touched a control panel, the devices seemed to respond intuitively, as if the dragon could communicate with them directly. "This isn't normal," Jarek muttered to himself. "No species we know has this kind of connection with machines. You might be unique," the diplomat returned, carrying a message of urgency. "Jarek, we have news. Word of the dragon has reached dangerous ears. Some factions do not want it alive, and others, well, they want it for themselves." Jarek's brow furrowed. "Who exactly? Rogue scientists? Power-hungry guilds? And even some military factions? They see the dragon as a tool, a weapon, or worse, a prize." Jarek's mind raced. He had saved the dragon's life, but now that life itself had made them a target, he realized that protecting the creature meant more than keeping it healthy. It meant outsmarting everyone who might come after it. Over the next few days, he modified his workshop. Hidden compartments, emergency escape routes, and false exits turned the space into a fortress disguised as a simple repair shop. He also began teaching the dragon how to move quietly, how to sense danger, and how to respond to instructions. The dragon was a fast learner. It could lift small objects, push levers, and even guide Jarek's hands toward precise repairs. Sometimes, it would chirp in patterns, seemingly giving suggestions. Jarek laughed. "You're really clever, you know that?" One evening, as they worked on repairing a hovering transport drone, the dragon's behavior changed. Its eyes glowed brighter, and its claws moved in patterns across the drone's console. Suddenly, a holographic map projected into the air, showing distant, uncharted star systems. Jarek's mouth went dry. How did you, the diplomat gasped. It has knowledge we thought was lost. These systems were hidden, ancient. Only a few legends mention them." Jarek stared at the map, tracing the glowing paths with his finger. "This could change everything," he whispered. "These stars, they could hold civilizations, technology, resources we didn't know existed." It was clear now. The dragon wasn't just special, it was extraordinary. And with extraordinary comes attention. The very next day, word of the holographic map spread across Virelia. Strange ships appeared at the edges of the city, their origins unknown. Jarek realized these were scouts, sent by those who wanted the dragon. Some were traders seeking profit, others were scientists who wanted to study it, and some he feared most were military operatives who wanted control. He could feel the tension rising in the city. Normally, humans were dismissed, underestimated, or ignored. But now, with the dragon's abilities, Jarek had become a person of interest. And that interest was dangerous. The first encounter came in the middle of the night. A small group of alien mercenaries approached the workshop. Jarek had anticipated this. He and the dragon moved quickly, using hidden doors and escape tunnels. The dragon's wings flapped silently, and together they disappeared into the narrow alleys of Virelia's lower city. As they ran, Jarek realized something. The dragon wasn't just surviving, it was thinking, planning, and adapting. When they reached a safe rooftop, the dragon curled around a small antenna, its eyes glowing faintly as it scanned the horizon. Jarek could almost hear it thinking, "There are many out there. We must be careful." Days passed in this tense rhythm. Jarek worked during the day, repairing ships, drones, and machines, all while training the dragon and preparing for the inevitable confrontation. The dragon grew stronger, faster, and more intelligent. It began recognizing patterns in the city, predicting danger, and even guiding Jarek towards safer paths. One evening, As they watched the sun dip behind Virelia's towering spires, the dragon made a soft sound, almost like laughter. Jarek smiled. "You're enjoying this too, huh?" The dragon chirped, flapped its wings, and nudged a floating repair tool toward him. It was a playful gesture, but also a reminder. Together, they were unstoppable. Then came the real test. A fleet of ships descended from the sky, sleek, black, and armed with energy weapons. They were not here to negotiate, they were here to capture the dragon at any cost. Jarek knew they could not fight them directly. Humans were clever, not invincible. He had to think, improvise, and outsmart the attackers. He led the dragon into the narrow alleys of the lower city, using their knowledge of hidden tunnels and escape routes. The fleet's drones followed, but the dragon, with its connection to machines, began interfering with their systems. Lights flickered, engines sputtered, and sensors went haywire. The attackers were confused, unprepared for this level of adaptation. Jarek realized the dragon's abilities were more than physical, they were technological. It could manipulate machines in ways humans could only imagine. Together, they created decoys, redirected drones, and even used the attackers' own systems against them. Finally, they reached an abandoned warehouse at the city's edge. Jarek activated a makeshift shield system, hiding them from the fleet. He looked at the dragon, now perched on a crate, breathing heavily but alert. "We did it. For now," he said. The diplomat arrived shortly after, carrying supplies and news. "You have done what no one else could. The dragon is alive, and it has shown its power. But there are whispers. Others are preparing. You will not be safe for long." Jarek nodded. He knew this was only the beginning. The dragon's holographic map had revealed star systems that held ancient civilizations, resources, and knowledge. Whoever controlled the dragon could dominate entire regions of the galaxy, and that made them targets. But Jarek also knew something else. Humans had a gift. The ability to adapt, to improvise, and to solve problems in ways no one else could. He had saved the dragon once. He could protect it again, and together, they could navigate any challenge. The dragon, sensing his determination, chirped softly and nuzzled against him. It was a simple gesture, but it carried meaning. They were a team, partners in survival and discovery. And as Jarek looked at the stars above Virelia, he felt a sense of purpose growing inside him. They would not hide forever. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, but also full of possibilities. Jarek and the dragon would explore it together, uncover its secrets, and show everyone that humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, protectors, and perhaps, in some small way, heroes. Over the next few days, Jarek and the dragon prepared for the next phase of their journey. The dragon's abilities continued to evolve. It learned to communicate more clearly, using chirps, gestures, and even small holographic signals. Jarek discovered that it could interface with more than just machines. It could sense energy patterns, detect hidden devices, and even predict potential threats. They experimented together, testing the dragon's limits. Jarek built small obstacle courses in the workshop, using floating drones, tools, and interactive panels. The dragon solved problems quickly, sometimes faster than Jarek could. It became clear that the creature's intelligence was not only unique, it was extraordinary. The city of Virelia began to change around them. Aliens who had once underestimated humans now whispered in awe of the mechanic who had saved a dragon and survived against impossible odds. Jarek did not seek recognition, but he could not ignore the way others looked at him now. With respect, curiosity, and sometimes fear. Then, one night, while the city slept, the dragon projected another holographic pattern from its mind. This time, the map revealed something even more remarkable. Energy flows connecting distant planets, star systems, and hidden civilizations. The dragon species, it seemed, had a deep connection to the very forces that shaped the galaxy. Jarek's eyes widened. If this is true, you're not just a dragon. You're a key to understanding the galaxy itself, the dragon chirped softly, almost in agreement. Together, they realized that the next challenge would not just be survival, it would be understanding, protecting, and using this knowledge wisely. And somewhere far above, the fleet that had come for them was regrouping, preparing for another attempt. They underestimated a human and a young dragon. They would soon learn that intelligence, courage, and teamwork were far more dangerous than brute force. Jarek looked at the dragon and smiled. Whatever comes next, we face it together. The dragon chirped again, flapping its wings, ready for the journey that awaited them beyond Virelia. The night sky above Virelia shimmered with distant stars. But below, tension thickened like a storm. Jarek and the young dragon stood atop a high rooftop, overlooking the city. The fleet that had tried to capture them had returned, larger and more organized this time. Sleek black ships hovered in formation, their lights scanning every corner of the city. They were relentless, prepared to seize the dragon no matter the cost. Jarek's heart pounded, but he remained calm. Humans had survived against impossible odds before, and he had learned that intelligence, courage, and creativity often outweighed brute strength. Beside him, the dragon's eyes glowed faintly, reflecting determination and readiness. Together, they would face this challenge. "We need a plan," Jarek said, scanning the rooftops for escape routes. "We can't fight them directly. We need to outsmart them." The dragon chirped softly and nudged a floating drone toward him. Jarek understood. The creature wanted to help manipulate the attacker's technology. It had already shown the ability to interface with machines in ways no one else could. Tonight, that skill could turn the tide. Using the drone, Jarek began creating holographic decoys, small projections of himself and the dragon moving through the city. The fleet's sensors immediately detected the illusions, sending ships in the wrong directions. Meanwhile, the real Jarek and dragon slipped through hidden tunnels and abandoned alleys, moving toward a central energy hub in the city. The energy hub was crucial. It powered the entire lower city and contained control systems that could influence drones, ships, and other technology. If they could access it, they might create a shield, or even redirect the fleet's own energy systems against them. As they approached the hub, the dragon flapped its wings, hovering in the air, projecting signals to override the security systems. Jarek followed its guidance, plugging into control panels, rerouting power, and activating protective barriers. Every movement required precision, but the dragon's intuition made it easier, as if it could sense the system's weaknesses. Outside, the fleet grew impatient. Their scanners kept picking up signals from multiple locations, each seeming like Jarek and the dragon. Confusion spread among their ranks. Small drones collided with one another, ships overcorrected their positions, and weapons misfired. The human mechanic and the dragon were proving that cleverness could defeat even superior firepower. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the hub. "Human, dragon, stop. Surrender the creature." A towering alien commander appeared on a holographic display. His expression was stern, but Jarek noticed something in his eyes: underestimation. He had assumed humans were fragile, incapable of such strategy. Jarek smirked. "We don't surrender. We adapt." With the dragon's help, he activated the hub's energy channels. Streams of power flowed into the city's shield systems, creating barriers that blocked the fleet's attacks. At the same time, small drones controlled by the dragon began interacting with the fleet's ships, confusing their navigation and sensor systems. One by one, the attackers were forced to retreat or crash harmlessly into empty streets. The city's inhabitants, alien and human alike, watched from their windows, stunned. They had underestimated the human who lived among them. But now, they saw something remarkable. Intelligence, teamwork, and courage could triumph over raw power. As the dust settled, Jarek and the dragon emerged from the energy hub, victorious but exhausted. The city was safe. For now. The dragon perched beside him, wings relaxed, eyes glowing softly. It chirped, as if acknowledging their teamwork. But victory brought realization. The dragon was not just a creature of wonder, it held knowledge of the galaxy's hidden energy flows and uncharted star systems. Whoever controlled it could shape the future of entire civilizations. This was more than survival. It was responsibility. The diplomat approached, eyes wide with respect. Jarek, you have done what no one else could. You have protected the dragon, the city, perhaps even the galaxy. But others will come. You cannot remain here forever. Jarek nodded. I know. But we've shown something important tonight. Humans aren't just weak strangers in the galaxy. We can solve problems, protect the innocent, and even outsmart those who think they are stronger. The dragon chirped softly, spreading its wings. It seemed to understand every word. Together, they moved to the rooftop edge. Jarek looked at the stars above. The unknown beyond Virelia. This is just the beginning, he said. There's so much out there. Secrets, civilizations, challenges, and we're going to face them together. For days after the battle, Jarek and the dragon explored the city, learning more about each other. The dragon's intelligence grew rapidly. It could predict patterns, communicate with machines, and even understand complex instructions. Jarek taught it history, engineering, and strategy. In return, the dragon revealed patterns in energy flows and hidden structures within the city that had long been forgotten. The duo became known throughout Virelia. Humans who had been ignored or dismissed were now celebrated for courage and ingenuity. Aliens who had once mocked Jarek now sought his counsel, recognizing that the human mind could find solutions where others failed. Meanwhile, whispers of their victory reached other systems. Messages traveled through networks and subspace signals. A human mechanic had saved a dying dragon, outsmarted fleets, and protected not just a creature but an entire city. The story spread like fire, inspiring others. Humans, once underestimated, were beginning to be seen as capable, resourceful, and vital to the galaxy's future. But Jarek and the dragon were not interested in fame. Their focus was exploration and understanding. Using the dragon's holographic maps, they planned journeys to the hidden star systems it had revealed. These systems, rich with energy flows and ancient civilizations, held knowledge and resources that could benefit countless worlds. One evening, while preparing for a new journey, the dragon hovered beside a star chart, projecting small lights that connected distant planets. Jarek studied the patterns, realizing the dragon could sense energy in ways that surpassed any human or alien technology. You're amazing, he said. Together, we could uncover so much and help so many. The dragon chirped in response, a sound filled with excitement and trust. Their preparations complete, they boarded a small, fast starship. Jarek had modified it for stealth and speed, incorporating elements of the dragon's energy sensing abilities into the navigation system. Together, they soared into the cosmos, leaving Virelia behind but carrying its lessons with them. As they traveled through uncharted space, Jarek marveled at the stars, planets, and nebulae. Each system held mysteries waiting to be uncovered, civilizations waiting to be understood, and challenges that demanded creativity and courage. The dragon flapped its wings, projecting holographic maps and energy readings into the ship's cabin. Jarek studied them, noting the patterns and possibilities. They were partners, explorers, and guardians. The bond between human and dragon was more than friendship. It was a promise of ingenuity, protection, and hope. Months passed as they journeyed through the hidden star systems. They encountered civilizations lost to time, machines forgotten for centuries, and energies that had been untouched by sentient life. The dragon's abilities allowed them to interact with these discoveries in ways no one else could. Jarek's understanding of technology and strategy complemented the dragon's intuition and intelligence. Word of their discoveries spread across civilizations. Humans became symbols of resilience and ingenuity, not just fragile beings in a vast galaxy. Jarek realized that their story inspired others to seek knowledge, solve problems creatively, and value cooperation across species. One day, they encountered a planet with a massive energy core, capable of powering entire cities. The native civilization had abandoned it, unable to harness its full potential safely. Jarek and the dragon carefully studied the system, devising ways to stabilize it and make it safe. Using the dragon's energy-sensing abilities and Jarek's technical skills, they succeeded. The planet's energy flowed steadily, ready to benefit countless lives. The natives observed in awe. "We thought no one could control this safely," one elder said. "But a human and a dragon, you have done what we could not." Jarek smiled. "We just found a way to work together. Sometimes, two very different minds can solve what one cannot." The dragon chirped proudly, circling above them, wings spread wide. It had grown from a dying creature into a being of immense capability, intelligence, and trust. Together, it and Jarek represented the best of what life could achieve when ingenuity, courage, and cooperation came together. As they left the planet, traveling toward more discoveries, Jarek looked at the dragon. "We've changed a lot already, and we're just getting started." The dragon responded with a chirp that resonated with excitement, trust, and understanding. It was a sound that spoke of endless possibilities, a future shaped not by fear or force, but by intelligence, empathy, and courage. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, civilizations watched in awe as the human mechanic and the alien dragon soared among the stars, proving that humanity was not just a visitor in the cosmos. It was a force for creativity, hope, and change. They were explorers, they were protectors, they were symbols of what humans could achieve, and together, they would continue to face the unknown, ready to solve, protect, and inspire wherever the galaxy led them. For Jarek, for the dragon, and for the countless lives they touched, the journey had just begun. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries and possibilities. And with the dragon at his side, Jarek knew that nothing was impossible. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same.